Hey guys, it's Ryan with MyListing Club. In this video, we are continuing on with our educational series, How to Build an Online Business with the MyListing WordPress theme. As I've done throughout this educational series, I'm using the MyListing project template to build our starter site together. You can get your hands on this project template by going to the MyListing Club website. That's mylisting.club. Scroll it down the homepage just a little bit and click on the MyListing project template card. That's going to bring up a page that talks about what this template is, the areas that it covers, and there's even a walkthrough video. But as part of this video we're doing right now, it's essentially going to be a walkthrough video for you. There are some parts of the template you won't be able to see because we've already taken those task cards away. We've completed those, okay? You can get your hands on this project template as a one-off purchase, or when you purchase a starter site. If you want access to this template on an ongoing basis, you can do that by getting on a website care plan or being an ultimate member. I'm constantly updating this template. Not quite daily, but it's pretty close. You know, anytime there's a best practices change, a change to WordPress, a change to MyListing, a change to WooCommerce, anything like that, I go in here and I update this template. So it pays for itself within the first few minutes of owning it. So it's the reason I'm really driving this home as part of this video series. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move this over to my other screen. Here we are looking at the project template and where we left off. So as I said throughout this video series, this is designed to work top down, left to right. So if you follow it in that order, you're going to have some success. Okay. Logo is the task card we are on now. How you add your logo to a MyListing site, it differs depending on whether you're using the MyListing default header or you're using a custom header with Elementor Pro. In this particular video, we're going to cover Elementor Pro and adding a custom header and a logo to that. Later in this series, we'll look at doing the default header and logo on that side. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Oh yeah, before I do that, as the card says, you remember your logo doesn't have to be image based, so it can be text based. So I'm going to show you both of those. So here we are in the dashboard of the Fit Starter site, and I'm going to go ahead and go to templates and then add new. For the template type, I'm going to choose header, and I'm going to call this fit-header so I can easily identify it, and create template. Now I haven't decided for this starter site if I'm going to use a custom Elementor header or the default MyListing theme header, so I'm going to reserve the right to have the final choice on that, you know, here in a little while as I build out the site. But we'll go ahead and close this down. You can go ahead and import one of these in. That's not a problem. I just wanted to show you how to do it from scratch real quick. I'm not going to build a whole header here. I'm going to build a very basic skeleton. There are tons of videos out there on YouTube for how to do this if you don't already know how. Okay, or Elementor site as well. So I'm just going to add a section here. You can also, so you can click on that plus sign and add a section, or you can just drag in your element to start. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to drag in a heading. I'm going to show you how to text-based header logo and air quotes first. So we've got our heading in there. We want to change the HTML tag to span. That way we don't mess up our SEO. We don't want to assign an H1 or an H2 or whatever to this. We want to be something that's not involved in that SEO structure. Okay, and then let's just put fit. So that's the name of our site, fit. And then under style, we can change the size of the font. Let's do like a really big one there. We'll do 80. And then we'll change the font to something here, something fun. Yeah, that's too fun. All right, let's just go with one I like. So let's just go with Montserrat. There we go. And then we're just going to bold this thing for now. Again, we're not going to get too crazy here, but just like that, you see, you can create a nice text-based logo. If you don't want the text-based logo, we can just drop back in here, add our image. You can also add the site logo too. It just depends on where you're bringing in your logo from or to. So let's go ahead and just do an image for now. So we've got our image. We're going to click on this. And we've already in previous videos enabled our SVG support. So we're going to go ahead and select this logo here. Drop that in. We're going to align it all the way to the left. We're going to go to the Advanced tab, and we're going to change the width to custom. And let's just try 10%. There we go. That looks good just for the purposes of this video. So just like that, you've created a custom header. And of course, you would add the nav in there and whatever else you wanted to add in there. As I point out in the task card for the custom header, just be aware that if you do a custom header with Elementor, you're probably going to have to hire a developer if you want to get the elements of the MyListing header in here. So what I mean by that, let's look at a starter site of mine. So let's look at Basecamp. Oh, that doesn't have it in there. Let's look at Reach. So here's another starter site. We see in the default MyListing header, we've got a cart widget, we've got a sign in, sign up, register widget, and once you sign in, you're going to see a direct messaging widget. To get those elements within your custom header, you're going to need someone who knows their way around the stuff. It's more advanced stuff. So if you want those elements, I would recommend that you probably just go with the default MyListing header. The default MyListing header works in almost every scenario. When I do the starter sites, I like to just show people different examples. This was a really popular header option. No one had ever done that I'd ever seen, like a centered header. Now, as you can tell, it's missing those components that I was showing you, the direct messaging and whatever. But if you click dashboard, this kind of gives you like a mega menu dashboard where I've added a custom cart and some other stuff. So you can add that stuff back in. It's just it's not a simple couple clicks. Is what I'm trying to drive home there. Okay, so let's just pretend we've got our header done here. Let's look at this site on the front end before we publish this. So here we see the default MyListing header. We've done nothing to make it look better or anything like that. But if we go ahead and we publish this custom header, we click Add Condition. Let's just apply it to the entire site for now. And let's refresh our page. So just like that, we see that we have our custom header in there. Now you could go in and you could adjust the display conditions, and you can say exclude on WooCommerce or whatever. You just have so many options of where you can display this. So what I typically do is once my template is in there, so say here's my templates. There's my header. Once you have this thing designed to what you really like, but let's say you want like a transparent version, let's just make this thing white. All right, so we did that. Let's update this. So let's say that this version worked on whatever particular page that we're on right now. But let's say we wanted a transparent version. So we go back to our templates, export it, go right back and import it in. Choose that file that we downloaded and import it in. If you get this message on your site, and just go ahead and say enable and import, okay? Okay, so that's in there. When you do that, it's going to look like it's the exact same file name or whatever, the same template name. Go ahead and edit that and change the name and put something like dark background, whatever you want to call it. You could even name it like where you're going to apply it, but I typically put colors in there, or I'll put transparent or something like that. But now when you do this, let's edit that. And this time on this dark one, let's change it to the dark background. So when we try to save our changes again, it's going to want for the condition again. Okay, and if you try to do entire site, it's going to tell you can't because you've already done that with this one. So right there, entire site. So just that quickly, you can pick and choose and create 2 custom headers and apply them wherever you would like to. Okay. So we'll go ahead and close out of that. I think I've covered everything there that I wanted to show you. Next up is the custom footer. Unlike the header choice that you need to make, whether it's the default My Listing or whether it's going with custom, 99.9% of the time build a custom footer with Elementor Pro. The only time I could see somebody not wanting to do that is if one, they're super lazy, which it actually, I think it takes more work to build the My Listing one and make it look good, or if they can't afford the Elementor Pro plugin. Okay, that's it. Like you should go with the custom footer every time. It's just too easy not to do it, and it gives you so many more options. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at that. So we're going to do create another template here. Let's go back. Templates, add new. This time we're going to choose footer. And we'll just call this fit footer. Now, I will also take this time to mention, if you go to the MyListing Club website and you go to menu, resources, click on templates under products to filter those out, and then you can do a search by just type in header. It's going to give you all the header templates I've built. Footer, there's going to be a little bit more of those. The reason why there's more footers is because if you use the default My Listing header, then obviously you don't need a template for it. So that's the difference there. I've also recently decommissioned 2 starter sites, so I lost the footers from one of those and the headers from one of those, I believe. Anyway, but you can download those and import those right into your site. Just like I did with the header, I'm just gonna not do these. I'm gonna build from scratch. It's the same exact thing. Let's say you want to put your logo down there too. So we'll just drop an image. This is more advanced. So for performance when using Elementor, best practice is to not use a ton of columns, not use any extra elements that you don't need. Just keep it really simple. Now, when Flexbox becomes more of a stable feature and things like that changes the game. But for now, it's more advanced, but the optimal way to do it is like I did the header, where you edit the image and you change the width to whatever. So 10% here. Let's add our image in here. So we've added our image to our logo. Let's say, trying to think what else. It'd be like nav, but let's do site icons for now. Not site icons, icon list. You can build your menu this way. I'm just doing it for this because I don't have my menu structure built out as part of this tutorial. Same thing, you go in here and you do the width. You can do custom and you can do like 20% or whatever. Duplicate this and duplicate it again. Then you can add in, like, let's say a form to put like a newsletter. You see, it's a little harder to maneuver, but you gotta play with it a little bit. There we go. So we know that our logo is 10%, right? 10% width. We know these are, what do we do? 20. So 20, 40, 60, and we use the 10 there, so that's 70. So we know we have 30 for the form. So if we go back in here, set our width to custom, and we do 30, it puts all of those on the same line there. The less performant way, which it's a hard habit to break even for myself, is the other option is going in here and, like, let's say you click the plus symbol and you do 4 sections, just as an example, and then you drag each of these in. These have a custom width, so that's why they're so small. So you just take that back off, and then you take this back off. This sort of thing. This is the typical, what a lot of people do when they build. And it's not terrible. I mean, it's not gonna kill anything. But like I always say, every little performance ding, I call them, it adds up. So if you've got a huge page and you do this all throughout it, it's going to slow it down. There's just no doubt about it. This is the most performant way you can do it, the way I previously did it. But it is more difficult. Not going to lie, it's more difficult. Especially like now, let's say you want to add some more stuff in here. It can be a little more complex, but once you start playing with it, it becomes easier and easier and easier. But as I start to build these starter sites these days, I really try to hone in on, making it as fast as possible for people, but also striking that balance of being able to help people support themselves. So it's a tough balance that I have to strike. But yeah, I just figured that out as I go along. But anyway, so once you do that, so let's say that's our footer. Same thing, publish. It's going to ask you where you want to show it. We're going to say entire site. Let's go back to our home page, refresh. So we see our header and we see our footer down there. So we're ready to rock with both of those. Now, it's not a one or nothing. Okay, it's not. You don't have to have both of these. So if we go back to our header, let's see, the great Elementor blue spin of death. Now, if we go back here and tell our header, like, okay, we're not going to use it right now. We're going to go with the default. You can have the default MyListing header and still use the custom footer, as you see there, and vice versa. So that's also something to think about. Going back on the logo, I'm not sure. I didn't copy it in this particular thing. Oh, there's if you purchase the template or get the template, there's a checklist I just added before this video down here. But basically, it talks about, when you do your logo, you should try to do it in SVG. Whether you're designing the logo or you're having someone else design it for you, or you just get it from a site that's already pre-made, make sure you get it in SVG format. You can probably even optimize that SVG even further before you upload it, and then upload your logo as an SVG file, okay, for performance, because that logo is going to show on pretty much every page load since it's in the header. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to call it for this particular video. Yeah, I think it's a good one. Yeah, subscribe so you can know when I come out with the next videos, or with the series, or just videos in general. And thanks for your support, and talk to you later.